us on the Now That You Mention It podcast with Roll J and RJ. I'm Roll.
I'm Jay.
And I'm RJ.
So tonight we're excited to bring back our brother Gabriel. He'll join us here in a minute. Before we get into our discussion, we want to remind you. Well, first we want to thank you for your support thus far. We really appreciate all you guys checking out our podcast on YouTube. We also thank you guys for visiting the Facebook page. We definitely want you to continue to send us comments and likes and all that good stuff. So don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't already. Ding the little notification bell. Subscribe if you can. Don't forget to visit our Facebook page, the Now That You Mention It podcast Facebook page. And if you don't have time for the video, you can kind of check us out on the audio formats on Apple Podcast, Spotify, now on iHeartRadio and Podbeans. So with that said, guys, hey, good evening. We've already had a somewhat lively debate just to start this thing off, but let's go ahead and bring Gabe in.
Yeah. And before we do that, I just want to, first of all, thank everybody. We're creeping towards that 100 follower our mark on Instagram. So we really want to get that ramped up. But guys, we're this close to being up to 200 people on our Facebook page. Yeah. So let's continue, guys. Share the Facebook page. Let's get the number out there. I really want to get that up. For as long as it took us to get to 100, and about half the time it's taken us to almost get to 200. So I really want to continue to push that. Let's get that out to 200. But with that being said, let's go ahead and bring in the Sith Lord of Lancaster, Texas, Gabriel.
And while we do that, I just also want to ask any of our watchers and listeners to go check us out on. We're now on Reddit. We've been on Reddit for about 2 days now. We're trying to boost our karma so we can get our own community and post on a lot of the other podcast forums. So please go check us out on there.
Well, man, if we get all the leales to like it, we'll have our own community.
No kidding, man. No kidding, dude.
So Gabe, how you doing, buddy? How's life? We're not streaming 7 days a week, or live every day.
You know what? It felt good and it felt weird. So just so people who don't know, I started live streaming back in February. And since I started streaming back in February, I had been doing it 5 nights a week, Monday through Friday. Overall, I think I've counted live streams that I've actually done. I've done about 170 hours worth of live streaming. So yeah, it's quite a bit, man. It adds up because, I would do some shows where I would do back-to-back nights where I go one show, then I would do another show for somebody else, and we would have another conversation. And then I have other shows where it was a 2-hour show. So altogether, it's totaled about 170 hours worth of live streaming since I've done. And so
impressive.
I took it upon myself because there's other things that I've been trying to do as well. So I've decided that after I'd finished my goal of reaching 100 episodes, I said, you know what, I wanted to reevaluate everything, see how everything was going. So at that point, I went ahead and just said, you know what, I want us to take a step back. So I actually decided to go to 2 times a week that I was going to be doing a live stream. And this week was the first week. And yesterday I felt weird for a little bit. and then I kind of started to enjoy it. So that's what I was essentially doing these last couple of weeks. So I've been really looking at a lot of different things that I've been wanting to concentrate on doing behind the camera instead of more in front of the camera. But if you're getting audio, it's because somebody's got to open source. I don't know if somebody's got speakers on or something like that.
That's me.
So if you hear it, there could be feedback coming back. I'm just letting you know because I just said 170 hours worth of live streams.
That's what I was just asking these guys behind the scene if they hear any feedback, because I forgot to put my ears in, and it's using the computer speaker, so I didn't know if I was messing with the mic.
Yeah, so you hear a hissing in the background. It's a you hear hissing or you hear reverb, one of the two, and it's usually because that's why it's always better, even if you got a cheap set of headphones, to use headphones than it is to not, unless you have just quality sound. So, you know, and the whole thing that I've learned, this whole thing is, you know, when you're dealing with people and you're dealing with guests, it's hard to it's hard to control that sometimes. I mean, like, you guys have a more controlled environment, but like I had a round table Monday night. We had 9 different people on there, and it's always somebody who just they don't know, like, they don't know their setup. So if they have like a setup where they're using, like you were doing with your laptop speakers or whatever, if you sit too close to the camera, if you sit too close to it and you start hearing the sound, it starts to echo. So you'll hear, right, hey, whoa, you go, what the heck is going on, man? Somebody's, yeah. So, you know, that's the only reason that, like I was saying, when you do 170 hours of live streaming, you pick up on these things.
Well, real quick, let me point out, I'm almost forgot what it looked like with you with you not having facial hair. I almost didn't recognize you when you jumped on. I thought your show had been pirated by somebody else.
Well, you know what's going to be so shocking is there's going to be a lot of people tomorrow as well who are going to go, holy S, what is happening here? Who are you? And where's the guy who's been doing the live shows for the last 5-6 months? So, you know, but it's cool because I wanted to just change things up, man. Just, I mean, there's so many other things that I've been changing. Why not just go for it and go and shave the whole thing off? And then on top of that, I have the opportunity to grow it back so that I can demystify everybody that I use just for men, they'll see that it is all natural. So that when it comes back and they go, wow, your beard, it's so luxurious.
So what are you saying?
Exactly. See that right there? That is not what happens. So it comes out, even though I'm gray on top, it comes out. I look like Blackbeard. I come back, it's so nice and lush and black, and it's so wonderful. And people go, what are you doing? It's amazing.
Well, what's bizarre is, in terms of the facial hair aspect, is you look at RJ,
yeah,
who is my son. I swear, he is my son. Okay, I am his father, but number one, he's got the beard growth like almost nobody else in the family, and of course it's reddish, right? Because my wife's hair is red, and
so, the mom's side of the family.
Yeah, so I'm always giving RJ a hard time about his, but
it does. It's kind of shocking.
Maybe I'm a little jealous, I guess, right? Because I got too much of that Indian blood where I can't really grow on the. I get the Patch Adams, going on here.
It's the same way. I can't get the full. But you know what? One thing I will say is this beautiful.
You don't need to pronounce it. You don't need to project your beard anymore, RJ. I saw you kind of getting close to the camera there.
This right here will be on my head until the day that I die.
What's that?
I said this right here will be on my head till the day that I die.
Yeah. And all the Grecian formula that you add into it.
Shit. Hey, your love right there, brother.
So yeah, and let's go ahead, since we're talking about bomb ass shit. Let's talk about what happened over there in Lebanon. That was
wow.
Yeah.
That
what a
was
segue, man.
quite a scene,
Dude.
You know, I was
It
talking.
really was.
I saw somebody's video and they had posted like 20 different views that they had got offline
Yeah.
from.
We saw that same
Somebody had
one.
done a compilation.
Yes.
I went to the office to go see Roland and RJ today, and they were looking at one video, and I said, guys, have you seen the compilation? And they said no. So Roland looked it up and put it on the screen on YouTube. And man, just the different angles and the different how close some people were. Man, there were people that were literally blocks away from that explosion, and to see that ripple effect of that that shockwave hit them and blow glass out of the windows. And there's views from far away while people are out on the water. There's one view somebody has from a helicopter, and man, it's just, oh my God, it was just so devastating.
They were showing one today where there was a priest doing a live stream.
Oh wow, I hadn't seen that one yet.
Yes, he's doing a live stream in the church when it happens, and you just hear the shockwave hit, and then the building shakes, and you just see him try to run, and you just see stuff start falling, and you can tell it lands on top of him. There was a woman doing her photo shoot for her bridal, for her upcoming marriage, literally blows them back because luckily she was in a enclosed area where it was kind of like covered on the east, the west, and the north side, but the south side was still left open. The shockwave was so strong that it even blew them back away that way. And you could just see her, and they pick her up, and everybody just starts running. And it's the damnedest thing because it's the stream was in a good quality, and so was the camera taking that people were filming her wedding pink. So you just see it happen, and it just goes woof, and you just.
That's the thing about the videos. There are so many just clear videos. I mean, there's some that are blurry and you don't get the full picture. They're at bad angles. But the thing is, so many people were looking at this just a fire to begin with, from so many different angles, that it just happened that everybody seemed to catch the explosion.
Yeah.
And I mean, that explosion, man, is shocking. I know.
Well, it's definitely a power. It's powerful footage, right? And I mean, you can almost see the mushroom cloud.
Yeah.
Just appear and almost just as quickly disappear. But then the shockwave comes right after it, and of course all the devastation. I actually watched some videos of people surveilling the damage, and I mean, it is incredible what that explosion, the amount of havoc, the amount of damage that.
And the thing was, RJ, what was the chemical that they were housing there?
So it was ammonium nitrate. Yeah,
so
and they had
fertilizer.
So it was the same thing that they had in West a few years back. That when they blew up the same thing, it was the same kind of fertilizer thing. They said it was 1,000 times more than what was used at the Frank Merle building in Oklahoma City whenever Timothy McVeigh blew up the building there. 1,000 times more. And you saw the damage it did to that building. You see the overheads of what the shore is.
Yeah.
No, it's.
So I think we went through and figured it out. How much was it, RJ?
So Beirut, Lebanon, they used the metric system, and they said it was 2,750 metric tons, which is closer to 2,900 tons in our system. And it was just being stored at a warehouse for about 6 years. And I want to say that there were a bunch of the people at the customs who wrote to the courts multiple times because there weren't preventative measures being taken, and they just really never heard anything. They aren't sure what really caused this, but obviously,
the speculations are going to come from every angle. Was some sort of terrorist attack or assassination attempt or whatever, you name it, it's going to be thrown out there. The sad thing is that nobody pays attention to this stuff until it's too late, right? I mean, to have 2,900 tons of explosive basically sitting in a warehouse that close to a city is absolutely irresponsible. Whether there was intention from people to actually start the fire and to cause the explosion or not, why give them the opportunity? Why have it that close? I mean, and certainly in that quantity, it's devastating. I mean, it's heartbreaking. I'm sure we all feel very, very, heartfelt condolences for all the people that were caught up in that. I mean, it's
well, and the thing is, as of today that we're filming this episode, which is on a Wednesday, there were only 100 reported deaths. But I mean, I'm almost certain that by Monday, after people watch this episode on Sunday and Monday, I mean, that death toll has to rise. The fact that, they're reporting now that as of this moment, up to 300 people are now homeless because of
300,000.
300,000, yeah, are homeless because of the destruction from this. And man, I just
how many people do you think they haven't even counted yet that probably just disintegrated?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. They're saying that hundreds are missing, and I don't know if you guys have seen any of the footage, gory footage of the people that are dead, unfortunately, but it's just not a pretty sight. So prayers to all of that city of Beirut. They're a big port city, so a lot of their business is going to be, their economy is going to be affected significantly.
Well,
so,
and the thing that sucks about all this is that during the 80s, and RJ, this was a lot of this happened before you were born.
Before my time,
Beirut and Lebanon in general was a war zone. There was constantly, upheaval going on over there. Buildings were damaged. I know if you go back and look at YouTube footage of things that happened in Lebanon and Beirut in the 80s, and those people were, poor people were just getting to the point where they're rebuilding life, man, within the last, 15 to 20 years, getting to where they're catching up in life, where they're rebuilding a war-torn society. And for something like this to happen, man, and just devastate a city that has in the past already been devastated by something like war, it just, man, I don't know if a lot of people who actually lived through that time, who are, still alive today, are thinking that maybe my city's cursed. What's going on here?
Here's the thing, though, and this hasn't been broached yet, but it's something that I thought about. You're talking about 300,000 people are now homeless. You're homeless now in the middle of COVID-19. Yeah. So how many people might actually say, you know what, I lived through that and catch the coronavirus and might actually pass away from something that they just that again was something they just did not plan on or expect. Because you're talking about, you're going to have to house 300,000 people somewhere. They're these people are going to have to find a way. And I'm sorry, even in the best kept situations, I mean, it's you're talking about the law of probability. Somebody's going to have it or might have it and get inside of this 300,000, and before you know it, it could be a whole nother. It's a whole nother angle, and you go, crap, man, it can't. It's like you can't win for losing sometimes.
Well, we're constantly reminded that 2020 is just turning out to be a really crummy year. So many things going on. Unfortunately, it feels like when we start to get some stability or start to feel good again, something else happens. And we still got the election season coming up. This is going to be extremely extremely messy.
Oh.
It's going to be super contentious. Elections are always contentious, but I think this year it's going to be exacerbated by the fact that you have all these talking heads out here. You've got the divisiveness of not only politics, of the coronavirus, of the economy, of Black Lives Matter movement. And so we've got all this juxtaposition against each other, not to mention that, we still have uncertainty about sports, right? I mean, we're still one of the sports, which is always, I guess, for a lot of us, a diversion, right? I mean, things are always going on every day anyway, but we kind of immerse ourselves in the sports world. And so far, I think I got to be honest, it looks like they're kind of going okay. I think they're doing as good a job as they can.
Unless you're a Marlins fan.
To see, what's that?
unless you're a Marlins fan.
Oh, well, yeah.
or a Mavs fan, because damn, dude.
Oh, wow.
No, hold on. I love the Mavs. Don't get me wrong, but man, they lost their first two games in heartbreaker fashion.
Yeah.
And it's all to the same problem that they've had all season long, and that's late game defense.
They don't close it out.
That offense tends to lose its step in the last part of the game, but they had a great bounce back win on Tuesday.
But it still took them to overtime to get there.
Hey, a win is a win, brother.
A win.
That's true. That's true.
They made the playoffs for the first time since 2016 now.
Here's my thing is, at the end of all of this, though, do we put an asterisk on it?
I hear a lot of people say that, and to me, I think with everything going on, it makes it harder. It would be an asterisk if it was easier. You know what I mean? But
and the reason is because you're talking about something it's almost like the strike shortened season of in baseball that they had. I mean, you have to go. This is something that we've never dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that's been unprecedented. How can you say that it might be fair to say a team that was on a roll before all this hit? They had hit their stride. They had found the chemistry. They had found all these things now. And then essentially you're going, okay, stop everybody.
Yeah, but you know what, bro? On the flip side of that, what's to say that all these teams that were going into this hurt? Because let's look at the Mavericks. Before the break happened, before COVID-19 hit and games were stopped, Luka was banged up, man. Luka was hurt.
But again,
hold on. So every team got a chance to recuperate, and all those players that were hurting, and you're coming into something that's never happened before, where these guys are getting an unprecedented break in between games for them to heal. Because LeBron was hurting before the start of, or before the end of the shutdown, and so now he's had weeks to rest, and he's going to come back full strength. Kawhi, all these guys that were run down. The whole point of getting Kawhi out of games and things like that was to give him rest throughout the season. Yep. Now you don't have to do that.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
So now these guys are all starting on an even keel, man.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. I mean, that's expected at the beginning of the year, but at the ending of the year, you have to take what's given to you. So just like when Golden State was down and Klay Thompson got hurt, and whenever they were playing again, you have to get dealt the cards that you're dealt with. That's part of playing through a whole season. So if you lose your star quarterback in the AFC Championship game, guess what? You have to deal with it, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I think that's the disparity we're talking about. That's why I say I don't think this is something that we've ever dealt with. So if somebody would have got hurt, okay, for example, Tom Brady gets hurt 2 weeks before the AFC Championship game, and then for example, COVID hits. This is just an example. Just say, they say, hey, we're going to be down now for 3 months, 2 months, whatever it is. He gets time to heal his injury. He comes back. They win the Super Bowl. What do you say? Is that to me? Is that
Well,
fair? I think is that fair.
Here's what I would say, bro. Because let's be honest, you want to be the champ, go beat the champ. I mean, we regardless of you know, if you truly want to be known as the champion, you want to face the champion in any capacity and beat him. And sometimes, yes, it helps you. It gives you a little bit more of an advantage if he's injured or recovering from a sickness and illness. You're absolutely right. I mean, that's just the nature of the game. But the truth is, for the way I look at it, using your example, I mean, if you want to say your team is better than the Patriots before Tom Brady moved, the Patriots, well, hell, go beat them with Tom Brady. Then you can really say, hey, we're the better team. They had Belichick, they had Brady, they had all their weapons. It didn't matter. We still whooped their ass. Nobody could do that, unfortunately. Well, you know, maybe the Chiefs now, I think. Yeah. But the way I look at this, Gabriel, I agree with you to some extent, but I think at the end of the day, everybody's dealing with the same conditions. You know, yes, it's a restart. Some people got their key injured players back. At the end of the day, I still think that if you're going to be the champ, you just got to beat everybody. You beat them all. Yeah. You figure out a way to win. I mean, here's how I look at it. You know, and bring it back home to the Mavericks, right? The year that the Mavericks did win their title, they really had no business winning the title that year. I mean, we were playing with, well, but we were playing, we had a cast around there that were, some of them were superstars, but they were already kind of past their prime. We had a lot of, I want to say, secondary pieces, right? But you know what? They still found a way to beat LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, with a talented roster, other support players there, and still won the title, right? So, yes and no. Unfortunately, this whole COVID thing again,
that's why I'm just saying you
prepare for it. But the truth is, everybody had to deal with it. Everybody.
It is, and I'm not saying that's not the case. I'm just saying, I think you do have to at least mark that. Hey, this was COVID-19 year. Things were different. We had because again, here's the thing. Do you think the Mavericks would have beat the Heat if they would have had a 2-month break in between before the start of the finals, and then getting back in?
I mean, let's not forget though about that year. In that scenario, you probably get Caron Butler back, who was a big reason that they got so far. So, I mean, I do think there's still a chance because, you know, LeBron was still relatively young. D Wade was still relatively young. I mean, Chris Bosh was still relatively young. It would have benefited the Mavericks more, I think, had they.
I don't know. You give them more time to not to practice, but at least know more about the gel, get their cadences, and figure out ways to say, how can we attack these folks? So you give somebody like those three guys a more strategic opportunity. I don't think the result's the same. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but you know what? Hold on. I'm a real big believer in teams of destiny, and as Mike Reiner would say, that damn team, right? And 2011, the Mavs were that damn team because hold on. Not only did they beat LeBron and Dwayne Wade, and you guys don't like to count Chris Bosh. Y'all told me before in the past Chris Bosh wasn't that great. Okay, I get it. But to have to go through the Oklahoma City Thunder and three very young budding stars, but all three at some point, and in the next 5 years, all three of them would win an MVP at some point, right? And to have to go through the two-time defending champion Lakers and not only beat them, but sweep them, right? And nobody gave the Mavericks the benefit of the doubt in the first round when, everybody thought Portland was going to come back on them because of things that have happened in the past to where the Mavericks showed that maybe they were a soft team. That year, Dirk was going to win the championship. I feel no matter what, I don't care who you would have put in front of him, he was going to win. You put a Hall of Fame player, and I mean one of the top 2 to 3 players in NBA history, and a Hall of Fame coach in front of him.
That's what I was going to say. Let's not forget Rick Carlisle. I mean, no disrespect to Spoelstra, but Carlisle outcoached him in this series. I mean, I
think we're overlooking something though.
Yeah.
And I think here's what we're overlooking. How in the hell did Oklahoma City not win a championship with those 3 fucking guys?
No clue, dude.
My question is, each one of them had been a top scorer. Each one of them won an MVP. How in the hell did and I'm talking about, you had an all defensive player in Serge Ibaka. You had,
and that's the thing is, man, those guys were within. It's not like they were so young that their MVPs were going to come 10 years down the road when they matured. You're talking about within the next 5 years. Harden won an MVP. Russell Westbrook won an MVP, and Durant won an MVP. Right, and Durant at that time was a 2-time scoring champ.
Yeah,
and you're like, they went through that, and then went through LeBron and Dwayne Wade to win their championship. They were that damn team that year, and I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. Dirk was destined to win that championship that year.
And here's the thing about the COVID, even with, the bubble, I mean, teams are still losing players because there's those players who are opting out because they don't want to be away from their family for 4 months or however long it takes. I mean, just think about the Mavericks. Obviously I'm not going to sit here and say Willie Cauley-Stein is, on Luka's level, but he was definitely making an impact after we acquired him. And he's sitting at home to be with family. So, I mean,
I don't know. It's just a weird, like Roland said, it's just a weird situation. We got a brand new stadium collecting dust in Arlington.
Oh God!
That it really looks nice and shiny on the inside. We were talking about this at work, and I told one of the guys, you know what it's like? It's like when your grandma got a new couch and she put the plastic covering on it. and literally said, okay, guys, let's make this couch last a little while. So, I mean, it is, and it is impressive. It's a huge stadium. I know I've been there a couple times to make deliveries over there. But still, I mean, you look at it, you go, "Wow, what a waste!"
Yeah, I told somebody it was like buying a brand new car and just parking it in the garage and never driving it.
For now, yeah. I mean, literally, you only put the miles on. You're only putting the miles on.
So I have a quick observation, guys. We're talking about how 2020 is just kind of turning out to be somewhat of a crappy year. I think I want to go back and maybe understand the genesis of why 2020. And the only thing I can think of is that Mike Reiner retired from the ticket.
No.
First, what? No. Here's the thing.
Would have been Kobe dying, I think.
No. Here's
because Reiner retired over Christmas break.
Right.
When they came back after the first of the year, that's when they officially announced that Reiner had left the ticket.
You know what?
It's all been downhill.
Damn you, Mike Reiner.
So it's
2020's on you.
Here's the thing. When somebody knows intuition and they feel it like he did,
yeah,
he knew it was the right time to leave. And he could have not left on any better of terms or any bigger horse than the way that he did, because he left big, he left classy, and he left.
He did. Absolutely.
That was one of the best. I still remember it's one of the best videos that I remember watching, because it was the antithesis of everything that he was, and I watched it going away, going, wow,
What a hell of a way to go out, right?
exactly. I said, you know
What
what?
a hell of a way to go
If I
out.
was going to read my own eulogy, that's the way I would want to do it. Is to sit down in the hallway with the chair, say what I wanted to say, get up as simple as it is, and the most killing and the most chilling thing about it is when he gets up and you hear the walk of the planks underneath his steps as he walks away from the chair, and you go, "Holy s, my life just literally changed."
Yeah, I agree.
And that's the thing is, man, the ticket has been such a big part of our lives
Mhm.
that you never thought about what would happen or when it would happen. Somebody leaving, any of the big names, you don't think about
Right.
Dunham and Miller going away. You
Right.
don't think about Gordon ever walking away from the ticket. You never would have thought that the godfather of the ticket, the guy who founded it, the guy who brought all sports radio to Dallas, was going to walk away at that time. And you never thought, I mean, they had their controversies when Grego left, but they got through that. But when you look at the consistency for 25 years, the Musers have been there. The hardline has been there.
Right.
And I know that they eventually they were going to have to work people in with Jake and Mino and those guys. And eventually they're going to have to change some blood out. But we never stopped to think what would happen when it did happen. How we were going to be affected by it, because when you think about, I mean, RJ, the ticket's been in your life since you were a baby.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe not that
Well,
long.
I mean, remember, you're talking about the tier one, what they say the tier one, right? They never,
Yeah.
they had never planned on the tier one changing for a while.
Yeah.
And even though you had like tier two, tier three guys who came in and left and would do weekend shows, and now they're anchoring somebody else's sports show, you always still have the tier one. You're going, okay, cool. I can always,
Count on them.
I can always count on them. These are things that I'm used to. And now you're at the point you go, I don't know what to believe anymore. It it reminds me of a line. It reminds me of a line, and I know I'm taking it back to movies, but it reminds me of a line in the movie called Boomerang, right? Eddie Murphy's a big player, whatever, and in Chris Rock has a small role in the thing, but this is where Eddie Murphy gets pee-whipped, and he's up there. He goes, "Tell me it's not true." Just tell me it's not true, man. Don't tell me what I heard is not true. He's like, "Man, you whip, man. Man, don't tell me it's true." He goes, "First the Fat Boys break up, and now this. Ain't nothing to believe in anymore." Right? So literally, you think about it, and you go, "Man," he walked away. You go, "What do I believe anymore?" Because now, I mean, the hard line's not the hard line. I'm sorry, it's just not.
It's a bastardization of the hard line.
You got to the point where you accepted Corby and Danny as part of what they do, but you always still had Mike to go back and go into, hey, Mike's mine. You had all these other things that you've been doing for a long time.
Well, he was your anchor to the past, because whenever there were stories, hey, let's hear about early stories of the ticket. He was the one you went to. When you think about, some of the most interesting conversations that were had on the ticket was how the ticket was actually founded. How they came up with the idea for the ticket. His stories of how the ticket was born. And things like that. That was your anchor to the past, man. And when your anchor walks away, now your ship is just left afloat. And what's there to slow them down?
Real quick, not to derail us from this conversation, because I enjoy talking about the ticket just as much as anybody, but I can't help but notice that RJ's background is got all our all the symbols up there, and so I think he needs to change his name from now that you mention it, CEO to advertising guru or something, marketing genius or something, because he's got all the.
Well,
I wonder if the shameless what do you call plugs, right?
Remember,
they're called social media strategists, bro. So
oh, I'm sorry.
Well,
So-
on this side of the world, we call him the Chris of the. Now that you mention it,
Oh,
Oh, man, that's an insult, man. Don't ever compare me to Chris.
I'll be sure to dub in that little Dave Matthews Band for that.
Hell yeah.
Gosh.
oh my gosh.
No, but, I mean, let's think. I mean, I never thought Mike would have been the first one to go. I always thought it would have
No.
been Norm. Yeah.
I would have if we would have taken the poll, taking bets, my bet would have been on, hey, Norm he's either gonna kill over or they're gonna boot him, one of the two. But I would have lost. Somebody would.
Man, you guys are kidding yourselves, because once a nuclear holocaust happens, all that's going to be left are Twinkies, cockroaches, and Norm Hitzges.
Yeah. I agree with you there. I think Norm literally, I don't know, maybe he'll figure one day he doesn't want to, and he'll walk out on his own terms as well. But I tend to believe that some people just are pre-programmed that they're going to die doing what they love, right? And
Yeah.
Well, I would have thought that.
Sports, and
I would have thought that too, but Galloway walked away. I mean,
yeah, no, I get it, bro. I mean, at some point, you've got to realize that you make choices, right? You make choices every day. We make choices, right? We talk about getting into this whole podcast thing. That was a choice, right? Because we had to make a determination. Do I keep doing what I've been doing for the last 10, 15, 20 years or whatever? Or do I want to try something new? Do I want to challenge myself? And I think every one of us at some point develops that limit, right? You establish that limit. And once you get to that limit, I'm done with this. I'm going to go do that. Some people act on it. Far too many of us don't.
Yeah.
Right. And so we get stuck in our routine. We get stuck in our habits, and we don't challenge ourselves to go outside and do anything other than what we've always been doing. This podcast thing, did I ever think, we'd get this far? Did you get as far as you did? Who knows? But
you would, if you would have asked yourself a year ago, I'm going to be doing a podcast, you would have laughed at yourself. You would have said, you would have said like, whatever, man.
What I would have laughed at more was Roland actually live streaming on Facebook.
Hey,
because
I'll tell you something. That when we did it this afternoon from the office, I thought that was so cool, and I'm going to try and immerse myself. So look, as many as you, some of you may know, I've just never really been big on social media, not because it doesn't interest me, but my ADD, unfortunately, it drives me nuts. And I have this bad tendency to chase so many things down rabbit holes. I get on Facebook to look at, the people that I know, I love, I want to follow their stories. And then, of course, I see this stupid ass little story. I click on it, and then it takes me down. And the next thing I know, I've been on it for 45 minutes to an hour looking at stupid videos, and I thought, why the hell was I doing this in the first place?
Can I give you a piece of advice?
What's that?
Don't get on TikTok.
Oh, no. I avoid TikTok like the plague. Annabelle, unfortunately, is kind of in it. Quite a bit in it, and I've been trying to wean her off a little. Kathy, for a little bit, was in it. RJ for a very short minute, was getting into it. But at some point, I finally realized that we can waste so much time chasing rabbit holes. Yeah. The other thing that frustrates me about Facebook is it's constantly changing the chronology, right? So you may get on it and see 10 things that, let's say 10 or 15 or 20, however long you stay on there, stuff on your wall, right? Your newsfeed.
Yeah.
And then you go away, and then you remember, oh, hey, I wanted to check that out. And you get on there, and you might scroll 50 freaking things. Yeah, and you can't find it.
Well, it's because it reads what it is a lot of these platforms, they have algorithms. Yeah. And what happens is the algorithm's going to pull and say, you know what, you scrolled, if you only read one story out of 10, right? Say there's
Not vodka. For those of you who saw my Facebook live post, not vodka.
vodka. There you go. Water.
Well, it's not the algorithm so much to get you as much as Zuckerberg is fucking with you.
Well, it's not even Zuckerberg. It's all of them. I'm gonna tell you what. LinkedIn does it. Facebook does it. Twitter does it.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you why, because I do it because I'm on all these platforms. So here's the thing. The algorithm does this. If you say have 10 people that you follow a lot on Facebook, so if you get on there and you say, I want to check out Jay's post, RJ's post, Sam, somebody else, and you still go through this 10, they're going to start tailoring what comes up in your feed first. And if you go through those first 10 after the first time that you get on there for an hour, if you only check out one of those people's stories, and it's going to start, the algorithm starts changing and goes, we're going to feed 10 other people's in there. We'll put 5 from the people in the first one, and we're going to put 5 other people who you've had interest in before. And your stories start disappearing if you don't get there. That's why it's a habit to save something. Even if if there's a video that I want to watch, but I know I don't have time, I'll click the save button on there. And here's the thing. It'll remind me later on. It says, hey, there's 2 videos you have in your save file that you haven't checked out. And again, do you want to go back and I'll go back and I'll look at them and go, what the fuck did I want to watch this for? And then I'll have to delete it. So because
I do the same thing whenever I see something, because I noticed that a lot too, that I would lose stories. Like I would see a story, like if I was on my lunch break at work and I'm looking through and I see a story that I'm reading. So like Roland, I'd close out Facebook, go back to work. A couple hours later, I'd open up Facebook and I can't find the story. Even if I search for it in the search bar, I can't find that particular story. So what I started doing was like you, whenever I see a story that I come across that I can't look at or read right now, I'll save it. And like you, I've opened my save file on Facebook before, and I've got like all these stories and videos. I was like, what the hell was what? I don't remember this, but it's there. But
the other
RJ,
go ahead, RJ.
I was gonna say his other problem is he can't distinguish between a post and an ad. I can't tell you. Yesterday, we were trying to send invites to all his contacts for our Facebook page. He sat there scrolling and was like looking at a game ad, and I'm like, dude, just keep scrolling. That's an ad.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I'm on Facebook right now checking out mine.
Well, we're kind of filming right now. It seems like the least inappropriate time to be doing it, but. I mean, the algorithms are why on this side of things, it's so important to post content daily or as much as you can, because it'll put you in front of people more often if you're posting more often.
Yeah. Do it. Here's the thing. Do it. If you're going to do it organically on their platform. So go on Facebook, go do a Facebook post and get off, and then go do a Instagram post separately, because what it does is it'll ding you. That's why I don't have huge followings, because even though I stream across 6 different platforms, but what holds me down is because I use a third-party streaming service, so I get dinged for it because I'm not creating content specifically for their platform. So, but again, it's to me it doesn't matter. It's all about what I've always told everybody is just get on the message, start talking to people. People will find you, people will connect with you, and people will start. You start really getting a following and building a community. It just takes, for anybody, it just takes time. It's all it really is. You guys are starting to realize that now. You got 200 people on Facebook. You have 100 people on. That you're building on Instagram.
Yeah.
So, the thing is, I refuse to do this. I refuse to cheat this, because one of the things that I noticed as we started doing the podcast and as I got into doing the back work on the podcast, and I know RJ, you've probably seen this too, as you start, like I started joining all these podcast communities on Facebook. Yeah. RJ's joined one for us on Instagram.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are people that are going into there, and they're just.
Don't forget me. I've joined 0.
Yeah, exactly. My point.
Go back.
But you get these now. You get these, like, I'll get messages from people going, "Hey, do you want me to help you grow your your Facebook page, or you want me to help you grow your YouTube, and I'll get you all these likes, and my service is this much, and you're basically buying likes from people. And I refuse to do it that way. I want our likes, and I want our followers, and I want the people who actually want to watch our show to come organically.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I try to post on Facebook. That's why you know, I learned, like you, Gabriel, that we have to post separately on Instagram, because Instagram and Facebook are linked. If you post on Instagram, you can transfer it to your Facebook. If you post on Facebook, you can transfer it to your Instagram. But I don't want to do it that way, because then we don't get linked into the same algorithm on both. So I go in and I post on Facebook, and then I'll post the same exact thing on Instagram as a separate post.
Do it through the Creator Studio. You don't get hit that way. So when you go through Facebook Creator Studio, you can create a post for Instagram and you can create a post for Facebook. Mm-hmm. Post two separate things, two separate posts on each one, and it allows you to post it from the same from the same inside the same creator area, and it goes out there, and you can put it to your IG feed, or you can go to your IG stories, and it'll post it like you did, post it authentically on the platform, and then you do it the same thing for Facebook, and you can do it to your page, and then you can do it to your profile. So you can do it three separate ways, and you still get it out organically. Only Facebook does that. You can't do that anywhere else. And you're not going to get dinged for it. So the only thing I ask people when they ask me about influence, is they want to buy something, I just ask them, look, I don't care about growing followers. What I want to grow is inches on my penis. So can you show me a way?
There's pills for that, buddy.
Can you show me a way to grow that if you can grow that for me, I am.
If you open Pornhub, there's always
listeners. We apologize.
Well, we're already
no control
NSFW or NSFW podcast as it is. So.
Yeah,
that's right. It's not
just if you open Pornhub at the very top, there's always ads for those pills you're looking for, buddy.
Well, that's the whole thing, though. I don't.
Maybe I'll advertise on a podcast.
I don't advertise on Pornhub, so I don't know if maybe I should. Maybe get a lot more followers just doing that, and that's a whole other thing. That maybe that's the angle. Nobody's done a podcast on Pornhub. That could be the first.
On some of these solicitations you got to buy the likes. What's the cost, bro? Because I'm not above cheating. So we can get a shortcut.
Well, I can send you an email we've gotten for our site specialist page. I want to say the starting package is like $12K.
Yeah, some of them are pretty pricey. Some of them are,
is that pesos
they
or
want
that
you,
dollar?
Some of them want you to join like a subscription service to where every month, you pay a certain amount and we'll get you so many likes in a month. But like I said, I don't want to buy likes. I don't want to buy followers. I want that to grow organically. Right. I want us to go out and get that, because I want people who watch our show, listen to our show, to say, I watched that show, or I listened to that show because I liked it.
That's it.
We're going to start photoshopping our faces then, bro, because we're too damn ugly to get a lot of that stuff organic. Except for RJ.
If I got 6 inches, I got 6 inches.
That's why we should focus on the audio format.
So literally, that's that to that point. That's you say yourself. I'm in this image. I figure that
he's lost, brother. He's gone.
So, that's for me. That's the whole thing is, right. I mean, I'm created in God's image. So I got a 6. So I figured Jesus had a 6-inch wing too, man. So I feel good. I feel good.
There goes the few religious viewers we had. They're gone. Thanks, Gabriel. You're like a wrecking ball, bro.
I've been watching a lot of Triumph the Insult Comic Dog. I don't know why I got on this rabbit. I'm like you. I get in this rabbit holes, right? So I just started watching all of these things, and I started writing down all these D, Ween, and P jokes, ideas that have been coming into my head. I just said I need a platform to put them on. So,
Oh God.
you know, why not? Well,
Maybe you need to start a sister podcast.
Thanks for choosing ours. Thanks for bro.
right? I mean, he's got some.
We're the guinea pig, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
The problem is Gabriel's living in a movie in his own mind. And speaking of movies, guys, you know, we just want to just remind everybody that our first episode dealing with our movie tournament is going to be next week. So by the time you're watching this video, our brackets will have been filled. Our you know, the names are going to be out there. We will have reviewed our first movies, and we'll go on with those reviews next week for the first round. And RJ will have that. And again, like I said, you know, what's that?
I got a question. Is this being performed in the bubble? You taking all the safety measures?
RJ's in a COVID bunker right now, in an undisclosed location.
Oh, awesome!
Unfortunately, Lando's already showed his hand and pretty much showed everybody where he lives. So now now that you mention it, stalkers are going to be able to find him.
Right.
You know, me, I'm available anytime, any place.
So again,
I don't think we want to go into your neighborhood anyway.
I'm not afraid either.
Yeah, you don't want to come into my hood, homie.
I'll tell everybody my address. I live at 309 North Marsalis. So if you want to come find me, you know, come talk shit to me, knock on my door. I don't give a fuck. Go at all hours of the day. I will take you on. All right, that's my address. If you want the zip code and the phone number, I will give it to you too. So hold on to that. You know, I'm brave. I'm brave. I don't fear nothing. I don't fear nothing. Oh, Lord. So yeah.
Okay. I think with that note, that's going to be our show for today.
Yeah. So we just want to go ahead and thank all of our watchers and listeners for taking the time to lock in with us. We all know how valuable time is. Oh my God! And so we appreciate you guys giving us.
Get through the close.
We really enjoy doing this, and whether it's only 5 people or 5 million people, we appreciate every single one of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you don't mind, we'd like to ask for just a little bit more of your time to go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. If you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or Podbean, please follow, turn on notifications, and give us a rating and review, even if you think we suck. Go find us on Instagram and Facebook and Reddit now by typing in the Now That You Mention It podcast and hitting the follow button. Today's Sunday, and with only 1 week, and with 1 week coming to a close and a new one beginning, we want to encourage you all to make it a great one and focus on writing another great chapter in your book. Good night, guys.
Yeah. So if you want,
guys, later.
Guys,
hey guys, we got to remember when we close out these things to always remember to say,
and thank you to Jesse P, because we couldn't do it without you.
That's right. You want to write us a Glassdoor review? We'll take that as well. So,
bye guys. We'll see y'all next time.
Thank you, folks.